Hello and welcome to another Spanish lesson with me, Eva. Today we will have a look at the standard pronunciation, the standard sounds of the Spanish language. Okay, so you've seen the alphabet, you know the Spanish alphabet, 27 letters, only one more than in English. And you also know that the Spanish use the Latin alphabet, which is good news if that's what you are used to. So you know what the letters are like, you know their names, and today we will see what sounds these letters represent or what sounds they stand for. Okay, the first thing to remember, this is the golden rule of Spanish pronunciation, is that one letter always represents one sound and always the same sound. Okay, this is the golden rule. One letter, one sound. And it works the other way as well. One sound is always represented by one letter and always by the same letter. Okay, as I said, this is the golden rule, but as it often happens, rules do have exceptions, okay? And I will talk about these exceptions in the next lesson or lessons, but to start with, let's just see how this rule plays out, okay? So again, one letter, one sound, okay? I'll start with A, okay? So, letter A in Spanish, you already know, is called A. You could say that's its name, A. And it stands or represents the same sound, okay? So when you see A in a Spanish word, you will say A, okay? Do not be tempted to pronounce it differently. I know in English you can pronounce this letter in, I think, 6 or 7 different ways, not in Spanish. A is always pronounced A, okay? As in, I don't know, America, okay? America. Both this and this A are pronounced A, okay? B. B is B, okay? As in, I don't know, balcón. Balcón, balcony, okay? Balcón. C. The standard pronunciation is K, as in K, okay? K. Casa. Casa, house or home, okay? Casa. Sometimes this letter is pronounced differently, but because this is an exception, and I will have to explain when you pronounce it differently, we'll leave it for another lesson. For the time being, just remember that the standard pronunciation, the standard sort of sound that this letter stands for is K, as in K, okay? As in casa. Okay. D, okay? Dedo, a finger, a thumb, a toe. That's what dedo means. That's how dedo can be translated into English, okay? So all the fingers, thumbs and toes in Spanish are dedos, okay? D. So we come to another vowel, E, okay? E will be pronounced E, okay? Again, don't be tempted to give it a different pronunciation. Just stick to a very short E, okay? Let's see, a word with E. Well, I'm looking for a word that starts with e, even though it doesn't really need to. Europa. Or just euro, the currency, okay, in many European countries. Don't be tempted to say euro, okay? Just euro. E is e, euro. F is f, okay? F is fallo. Fallo is a mistake or an error, okay? Fallo. F. G. Same as with the letter C, G has what we could call the standard pronunciation, and then in some cases that pronunciation changes and we do not pronounce it the normal way. So the normal way, or the standard pronunciation, is G, okay, as in garage. In fact, I will use that same word in Spanish. Garaje. Garaje is a garage, okay? So G for the letter G, okay? H or H in Spanish is always silent, okay? So if you see this letter, ignore it. It's always silent. For example, hola, hello, hi is written with an H, but we do not pronounce it. So it's just hola, okay? E, another vowel, E. Be careful, it's not I, it's E. And let's see, a word starting with E. Iman is a magnet. Iman, a magnet. Okay? E, very short. Okay. H-I, now we go to J, is H. J or J in Spanish is pronounced as H, as H in some or many English words, as in home, house, hello, okay? J has that same sound. So, for example, jabón is soap. Jabón, J, H sound. Jabón. K is same as the standard pronunciation of C, K, okay? There aren't many words in Spanish with this letter, and many are actually foreign words that have been imported into Spanish, okay? So I will give an example of kiwi, okay? A very exotic fruit, kiwi, okay? Again, it sounds exactly the same as the standard pronunciation of C, K, okay? L. L sounds L, okay? And a word starting with L, let's say lejos, far. Lejos, far or far away. Lejos. M is M. It's very easy. M as in monte. Monte is a mountain. Monte. Then we have N, which is N. The sound is N. And A word starting with N is, my mind's gone blank. Nunca. Okay. Nunca means never. Nunca. Okay? N. N sound. Then we have the intruder, the only letter that the Spanish have and the English alphabet doesn't. Ñ. Okay, I won't put a word that starts with an ñ. Niño is a child or a boy. Okay, niño, a child of any, either a boy or a girl, or it can mean a boy. If you want to specify that it's a girl, then it's niña, okay? But niño can be either or only a boy, okay? O. Another vowel, O. A word starting with O. Well, a name. Olga. Olga. Okay. P or P in Spanish, it stands for P. And it's, let's see, an example of a word starting with P. Pino. Pino is a pine tree. Okay? Pino, un pino, a pine tree. Q, or Q in English, but Q in Spanish is the same as K and the standard pronunciation of C. So Q is always pronounced as K. For example, just a question, what? ¿Qué? What? ¿Qué? Again, it sounds like K. K. Okay, let's move on to the next one, R. This is a tricky one, and you will have to practice to learn how to roll your R's, because in Spanish they are pronounced. So in Spanish, this letter is pronounced R. R. Okay? So let's see a word with an R, and this time I will not write a word that starts with an R, and I will tell you why. I don't know. Let's say cara is a face. Okay, cara, face. The reason I didn't write a word that starts with an R is because when you do see a word that starts with an R, or you want to say a word that starts with an R, it's not just R, you have to roll it even more. It's like a double R, R. Okay, so a word starting with an R, as in rollo, for example. I will write it here. Rollo is a roll, rollo de papel, paper roll. Rollo, it's written with one R, but you have to know that in pronunciation it's a double R. So you don't say rollo, you say rollo, okay? Any Spanish word starting with an R is written as a single R, but pronounced as a double R, okay? Rollo, okay? And of course the same happens if you have a word with a double R, as in perro, okay? Perro is a dog. As you can see, it's a double R, which means you have to roll it even more, make it more pronounced, okay? This is very important in Spanish, distinguishing between just a single R and a double one, okay? Whether it's double because it's at the beginning of a word or it's double because it actually is a double even in spelling. Why is it important? Because sometimes you will have pairs of words where the only difference is single or double R. For example, perro has double R and you need to roll it more to distinguish it from simply pero, which is a single R. You roll it not as much as perro, okay? This is a dog, and pero means but or although. Pero, yeah, but something else happened. I was planning to, I don't know, go on a holiday, but things changed and in the end I stayed at home. So pero is but, B-U-T, and perro is a dog, okay? So practice rolling your R's if you're having trouble, whether it's with the R's or any other sounds of Spanish. I have a Spanish pronunciation workshop that you can sign up for, and I will leave the link below, okay? Good. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go here. S is S. Let's see. A word starting with S. Solo. Solo can mean only, but it can also mean alone, okay? Or it can mean lonely as well. So only, alone, and lonely. Me siento solo, I feel lonely. Or in my case, me being a woman, I would say me siento sola, okay? And you can already see, you've seen it here with niño and niña, which is a noun. Now you have an example of an adjective where the ending can tell you whether you are talking about a woman or a man, whether you're talking about a boy or a girl, okay? So, me siento sola, I feel lonely, okay? Good. S, T, or te in Spanish. Let's say tarea is a chore. Ay, cuántas tareas. How many chores, how many things to do today. Tarea. Tarea. So T is a T sound. It's quite dry, okay, compared to the English T, where you say tomorrow, today, I don't know, teacher. This one is a bit more dry. The Spanish would say tomorrow, today, no? T. It's not T, it's T. I don't know if you can hear the difference. Just practice, 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 and you will say tarea, not tarea. Ta, tarea. Okay. U, I have to do it in English in my head. U is U, it's just very short. It's not U, it's U. And the word starting with U, for example, is untar. When you are spreading butter or jam or anything, peanut butter on your bread, on your toast, what you are doing is untar, untar. So untar, not yunta, yunta, it's untar, untar. V is the same sound as B, okay, as the letter B. In fact, I will write it here so that you remember. And some Spanish people, I don't want to say a lot of Spanish people, but some Spanish people, when they have to write, they have trouble knowing whether a word is spelled with a V or with a B. Why? Because when they speak, these two sound exactly the same, okay? There are maybe parts of Spain where they do make a slight distinction between a V and a B sound, but in most part, V and B sound the same. So if you see V, you will say B. For example, a vase, basso, could easily be written with a B. It's not. You have to know that it's written with a V, but it sounds just like a B. Basso, un basso, a glass, okay? Or, yeah, a glass. U, V, W or UW. Not many words starting with W. We've already seen kiwi. I don't know, whiskey would be another one, but it's not really a Spanish word. Let me see if I can come up, if I can think of a word with a W. Wow. I don't know, I'll just have to write kiwi again. I can't think of another one. Kiwi. my mind's gone blank. Okay, kiwi. W. Okay, w, just like in English. Then we have X or X, and it sounds X, X. So, I don't know, taxi, a very international word, is taxi. Okay, again, not many words with an X in them. W, X, Y is Y. So it sounds like you, yours, yesterday in English. So exactly same sound in Spanish. And I will just give you an example of yo. Yo means I, okay? So yo, sometimes you might hear it yo, but just stick to yo and you will be okay. X, Y, and finally the last one, Z, sounds like TH in English. So thank you, thirsty, Thursday, that's the sound of Z or theta. So an example could be zebra. Okay, either an animal or the crossing on the road or in the street. Okay, zebra, like thank you, zebra. Good. I hope I haven't forgotten any. Let me see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, good. I've got them all. As you can see, they pretty much correspond to the same sounds that these letters have in English, okay? Except that in English, with some of them, with the vowels especially, you can pronounce them in different ways, okay? But in Spanish, as you will see in one of the coming lessons, the vowels are always pronounced exactly the same way, okay? A will always be A, E will always be E, I, O, and U, okay? And then, again, coming up, you will see that sometimes C and G can be pronounced in a different way, so not the standard way that we've seen here. And there's a couple of other things that I will tell you, because they do break this rule of one letter being or standing for representing one sound, okay? But today I just wanted to show you how the rule works and what these letters actually stand for when you see them in words. So not when you're just using them or saying them out one by one, when you're spelling out words, but when you see them in a word, how you actually pronounce them, okay? So at this point, you've become familiar with the Spanish alphabet. You know it's a Latin alphabet. You know there's 27 letters. You know their names. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you know the names, and now you've seen which sounds they represent. Okay, and just very quickly before I say goodbye and you start practicing, which is what you have to do next, there are two double letters, so to speak. One is CH and one is double L that used to be, I've already mentioned it and I'm sure I will mention it again, but just so in case you're watching this lesson for the first time and you haven't seen the previous one and you might not see the ones coming up, these two used to be considered a letter in their own right. So in old dictionaries, glossaries, you will find a chapter only for words starting with CH and another one for words starting with double L. At some point, the Spanish or the Royal Academy of Spanish, which is the highest authority when it comes to Spanish grammar and vocabulary, they decided that they would no longer be considered letters in their own right. Okay, so now that they've lost this status, any word that starts with a CH, you will have to look it up under C, and any word starting with a double L, you will have to look it up under L. But they do stand for or represent a different sound. So CH is not pronounced C and then a silent H, and double L does not sound like a normal L. It actually sounds like a Y. Okay, so for example, llamar, to call, is llamar. Okay, you can pronounce it the same way you would pronounce a Y, and CH is a ch, as in chair or church. So in Spanish it would be, I don't know, chico, a kid, a boy kid, and chica, a girl, a little girl. Chico and chica, this CH is ch. Okay, so it's a different sound to C, and double L is a different sound to L. Okay, but once more, they are not letters, separate letters of Spanish anymore. Okay, good. Now remember, practice, practice, practice. Okay, now that you know how these sounds, how these letters are pronounced, please practice them. The only two I would leave out is the letter C and the letter G. Why? Because there are many, many instances when C is not pronounced K and G is not pronounced G. Okay? And rather than getting into the habit of pronouncing them always the same, leave them out, and when you watch the next lesson where I talk about these letters that break the rule, you will then be able to practice those two as well. But for the time being, just practice the rest. There's plenty left, and luckily they are all very similar, if not the same, to the English sounds. Okay, so apart from the R, which might take some time to learn how to roll it, the rest shouldn't really be a problem. Okay, good. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today. If you liked these lessons, you can subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification, and if you have any questions, there's an email address below where you can send me your either questions or, I don't know, comments, anything. Okay, I'll be happy to answer. Okay, great. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.